Hey, guess what? It is story time with Nick, or story time with Addi, whoever you want to call me. I recently posted a crystal healing video for depression and anxiety, and I felt like it was very important for me to come and share with you my personal journey with depression and anxiety. I honestly want to say that I have struggled with social anxiety like my entire life. Even as a baby, as a toddler, like I had very intense separation anxiety when it came to my father. And I think that's because, again, like I've said multiple times, I was abandoned as a baby, okay? So let me give you a little bit of background because I don't want anybody like calling my mama, making her feel horrible about herself. So this is the situation, okay? My parents were in the military when I was born, and I think that journey in itself took both of my parents on separate paths. So once I was born, my mother was sent to Korea. So she was actually in Korea for the first year of my life. And I lived with my grandparents, and then my father would help my grandparents take care of me, okay? So, for majority of my life, my grandparents were my parents. They were my parental guardians. Of course, I had my father, and, you know, he was working his ass off. Let me like my instant. He was working his buns off, so when he's not working, I was with my grandparents, and then when he was off, I was with him. So I think that's where a lot of my social anxiety or my separation anxiety came from, because it was that feeling of when my daddy leaves, he's not coming back, okay? And it's probably because as a baby, that was the case, you know. Say, for instance, if my dad only came to see me on the weekends, I mean, and a baby's mom, 7 days, 5 days is a long ass time. 7 days is a long time. So, you know, growing up, I was always a loner. I always say to myself, I always minded my business. Of course, I had my neighborhood friends, but outside of that, like, I didn't spend a lot of time with children. So then I'm going to say I experienced my first like official bout of real life depression, and I want to say I was in the 7th grade, okay? Now, this depression stemmed from feeling abandoned and feeling neglected by my mother. So, like I said before, I lived with my grandparents majority of my life, okay? Around 6th grade, my grandfather bought my grandmother a beautiful home, and they moved. So they sold the house that the 3 of us lived in. So it was me, my mom, and my grandparents. The house that we all lived in, they sold to my mother so that she could have her own house. Sorry, y'all, it's under my eye. And then they moved and lived their happy life in their new home. Now, you know, ideally, that sounds like a happy ending, right? Like, oh, she got her nice big dream home. My granddaddy spoiled her. She's happy. She's living in her house. Okay. For me, I love the house now. The house was fucking immaculate. This was the biggest house I had ever lived in my life. I grew up as a Cosby kid. So, like, it's funny watching a sister now, because I'm like, holy shit, they got a big ass room. But as a kid, that was normal to me because I grew up in a house. Like, I had my own room. I had my own queen size bed my entire life. So when they moved, I felt abandoned. Like, they left, in my mind, okay, I'm gonna just be honest. I never felt any love, and I never felt any like passion for my mom. I never had a connection. I never felt that motherly connection. I never felt like she even wanted me to be around. I felt hated. Like, my entire life, I felt like my mom hated me. And honestly, it possibly wasn't me. Maybe it was something in her life that she wasn't happy with. Maybe it was a self thing. I've never gotten to the bottom of that. But I always felt hated by her. And when they left me, she moved her boyfriend in. And it was me competing against a man and a dog, and I was losing the battle, okay? So I started getting very dark inside. Dark, 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 dark. Like, as far as contemplating suicide, dark. And that's how I know that that's when depression for me began, because there was a point where I literally was dragging myself around the fucking house. I didn't want to do shit. I didn't want to be alive. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was just sad, and like, it's interesting because as I got into as I got into high school, and as I began my first romantic relationship, like, we were head over heels in love with each other. And now that I'm older, and we've kind of discussed it too, it's because he filled a void for me that I never felt filled in my life. He loved me with all of his heart. He loved me with everything that he had. And I had never felt that before. Like, even though my father absolutely loved me with all his heart, there was still a part of him missing, and a void that needed to be filled for him in order for him to show me the love that I desperately needed from my parents. So in 7th grade, y'all, I literally wanted to die. I wanted to die, but I've never had the courage to just be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm doing it today. And that's all I would think about, is like, if I only had the fucking courage, like, how could I do this? I can't slip my wrist. I don't want to cut myself. I don't have access to a gun. Plus I'm scared. I don't think I could shoot my brains out. Definitely not taking a bunch of pills. Like, I could never find the courage to actually do it. Thank you, God. Thank you. So, thankfully, we had a situation that pushed me over the fucking edge, which I have to make another video about that. And then once that pushed me over the edge, I think it became apparent to my family, like, okay, something's going on with her emotionally. Let's pull her out. So I remember telling my father, like, I never want to see this woman again. And I moved in with my dad and his girlfriend. But my dad, being my dad, he kind of forced me to have a relationship with my mom. So I would still go over on the weekends, okay? Now, again, that depression in itself was stemmed, and I think it was triggered by my grandparents moving, but it stems back to that baby moment of me not having someone to coddle me as a baby when I cried and when I was in pain. Okay, so that's the first round. Now, I don't think I went through any, like, depressive moments in actual high school, not that I can remember, but I do remember 2 times in college. The first time was more so like a state of confusion, because I had got cheated on for the first time. I got cheated on for the first time, and I was confused. Like, I couldn't understand it, because whenever he would get caught and whenever I would try to break up with him, it was always this plea, this begging, like, oh, I really love you, I want to be with you. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is funny, I love doing this. Whenever I get cheated on, if a man desperately wants to be with me, I make him jump through ridiculous hoops. You're gonna prove to me and show me that you really want to be with me. Now, he did this when I would tell him to do dumb shit, and he would do it. Like, for example, the second time he got caught cheating, he begged and begged and begged, I want to be with you, huh? I love you. So I was like, okay, you want to be with me? This is what we're going to do. If you really want to be with me, then I want you and I want your little side bitch. Meet me at my room at this time. And we're going to have an open discussion where you're going to sit in front of her. You're going to not only disclose to her that you no longer want to talk to her, you only want to be with me, but you're going to sit here and tell all this fucking business in front of her. Y'all about to tell me the tea. So I had the both of them come to my room, y'all, in college. This was so funny. And I made her tell me what the fuck was going on in front of him. And then I made him tell her what the fuck was going on in front of her. And then right here and right now, we're letting you know, bookie, you can get the fuck on. It didn't work. But anyway, it was just funny, like, to me, him proving to me that he wanted to be with me, just, it satisfied me, and I let him stay. Now, there was a moment in our relationship where I was done. I was done because I'm like, bro, what is it? I'm giving you my all. I'm giving you my heart. I worked hard to get in a relationship with him in the first place, because for the first like 5 to 6 months, he was like trying to keep me on that friends list, but kind of like, I like you, but I'm gonna keep you up here because I'm interested. But what it was is that he was stringing somebody along that he had never committed to and never gave the opportunity to give a relationship. And I think he felt guilty because he really liked me and he really wanted to be with me, but he already knew how it was gonna make her feel. Anyway, so that was a light depression because I was broken. I was hurt because I'm like, I thought I was a good girlfriend. I thought I was a good person. I ain't shit because I'm getting cheated on. And like, that's how women think. We feel like cheating is always us. It's not. Okay. The second time in college that I went through a heavy depression. So there's actually 2 more times. And I think about it. There was one semester with my dumbass signed up for 19 hours of credit, y'all. Yeah, whenever I talk to college students, I tell them all the time, look, don't take more than 14 hours. I don't give a fuck what your life goal is. Don't take more than 14 hours a semester. You need enough time to focus. And if you overload yourself in the semester, you are going to kill yourself. Y'all, I was so fucking depressed because this is literally my life. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to class all day, come back, do work, homework all night, wake up the next morning, go to class all day, work all night. And like, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go to social events. I couldn't even talk to my friends. I couldn't even go to the fucking calf. And the reason why I couldn't go to the calf is because I had classes during the time that it was open. And then when I was out of class, the motherfucker closed. So I was eating a lot of ramshack. But not because T.I. Daddy used to have them fucking quesadillas lit. I miss T.I. Daddy. I wonder what he doing. He had the best fucking chicken Phillies and quesadillas you've ever had in your fucking life, okay? So T.I. Daddy used to get me right. But, I mean, you get tired of eating that same old shit, eating Subway. Now, that was eating Subway all the time. So during that moment, I was very depressed because I wasn't getting any social interaction. I just felt like I was drowning in my schoolwork, okay? The third time, and I love this guy still to this day. He was just shysty as fuck. Another one of my Sag exes. Y'all, I was in a relationship with somebody who now when I look back on my Facebook messages, it's cute because he literally manifested me into his life. He absolutely adored me, but his ways was just funky. He was very shysty. He was very manipulative. And I don't know what was wrong with that child. There's something still wrong with him. I love him and I should have had his baby, but we're not gonna go there. Anyway, so yeah, we were living together. Well, that was why we were in a relationship, because he was using me for a place to stay. But the pussy was good and he couldn't stay out of it, so he fell in love. And we broke up. And we moved to the same fucking apartment complex, which was stupid as hell. And this nigga lived across the street from me. And it was just a constant back and forth battle. Now, the reason why I went through this hard ass depression is because, for one, this nigga came to my graduation dinner with my family and lied to my family's fucking face about how much he loved me. He wanted to be with me. He would never hurt me. And literally that night when I went to Durham, this motherfucker was in Greensboro at somebody's crib or High Point, wherever the fuck it was. And I found out because he left his phone in my car like 2 weeks later. And I don't go through people's phones, but the way I found that phone, I was like, God want me to see something. So I went through his shit, and I found out that this nigga was at somebody's house literally the night I graduated. So I'm working with his funky ass, but I was addicted to him, so he would trickle his ass across the street every now and then and get some cootie, okay? So once I was like, you know what? No, absolutely not. And don't talk to me no more. Like, he would send me flowers. He would try to pop up. Don't talk to me. Once I got there, this shicey motherfucker. And I don't know if he knew. I don't know if he knew. But the girl that he started dating next was somebody that I actually was acquaintances with, and I really loved as a person. And it's funny because now I feel bad nowadays because me and this guy actually ended up moving in together. And I think she came over there once, and I was cold. Like, I was nasty towards her, but I wasn't mad at her. One, I was depressed, and two, I was pissed off at him. Why you got this bitch in my house? Okay, I hate to say it like that. I love her. It was nothing personal. But I was jealous as a motherfucker, and he knew that. So, having to see her car at his fucking house, and then he's the type that he's social media thirsty, so he's posting little pictures of her drawers on Instagram and just doing stupid shit just to let me know, like, yeah, you don't want me, but I got a bitch with a fatter ass and she's cuter and did. All right, so I went into a deep depression. And it's funny because I was telling somebody about the weekend and how they don't understand people's admiration of the weekend. I was like, let me explain it to you. First off, I hate to say this, but I miss the drug addict weekend just because the new weekend, I don't understand him. Now, when I think the weekend is so powerful and he's so, what's the word? Relatable, because his music was so depressed, okay? He was depressed when he made the shit. He was high as hell on whatever drugs of choice that he has, and that was what was coming through his music. I was dark depressed, y'all. Like, all I would do, this is when I first started smoking heavy, like habitual. I would get me a nice old $35 quarter of dirty ass mid. I would get me a big ass box of Swishers with the individuals that you can, you know, get you like 25 in a box. I would cut all the lights off. I would sit on my fucking floor and I would play Grand Theft Auto all fucking night long until I passed out, and I would listen to The Weeknd. And this helped me relieve that negative energy. I'm gonna be honest, I was being nasty. I was on GTA murdering people. I was on there robbing people. I was killing prostitutes. I was fucking them. I was doing all kind of negative nasty shit, okay? Just soaking in my misery. What made me say no more? I started to create a plan for my life, and I had this plan to move to Miami, and I wanted to do makeup. I wanted to be a makeup artist, and I fell in love with makeup. So I have a whole bunch of pictures that one day I'm going to definitely publish. I've been saying this forever, and it's because, like, these pictures are beautiful, and I look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside I was dead as fuck. I was dark and I was dead. I was hella depressed, okay? That was rough. I've never gone through a depressed breakup, but I did, and that was the moment. Now, going forward, like, when it started to really hit me is when I started losing people. So the first person was my grandmother. My grandmother died, and I actually had to transition into a functional depressive because I was broke as fuck. I was in college, and I could not afford to not go to work. I couldn't afford to like basically let my life go by the wayside. I had to keep pushing. I had to force myself to swallow that death, and I did not have the time to grieve. So I worked, and I just basically covered myself in work so that I wouldn't feel the pain and so that I wouldn't have to deal with my grandmother's death. Now, it helped because as long as I was around people and I was talking and I was, you know, just connecting with people, I was okay. It was those moments when I went home and I was by myself and it finally fucking hits you. God damn it, my fucking grandma is not here. Then I started thinking about all the things that I didn't get to do with her. That's the moments that I would fucking cry my face off. But I suppressed it, y'all. I suppressed the fuck out of that shit. So then I got in a very toxic relationship with an alcoholic. Very toxic. And I couldn't allow myself to get depressed. I think I was already depressed. And that's why we meshed so well, because he was definitely in a depressed state. His childhood was disgusting. The things that he went through were so traumatic that he felt comfort in me. And I felt comfort in being that comfort for him. I loved him. He admired me, and he really, like, even though he was fucked up, there was parts of him that were great. And I was looking forward to having a child with him. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't, because I literally watched him spiral out of control once the baby died. And I can only imagine how hard that would have been if the baby was here. So, again, that's when depression really slapped me in my fucking face, is when I had a miscarriage. And y'all, as you can see, I'm like really getting choked up here, because that's a pain that don't go away. Like, death, the loss of loved ones doesn't go away ever. And that's why I created Rayella's, because I want to show people, like, even though this shit hurts, even though it's still going to be a part of your life forever, you can cope with it. You can still be happy. You can still be a good person. You can still push through life. And, you know what I'm saying, you can still accomplish your goals. Life goes on, you know what I mean? And you don't have to soak in it. So that's my timeline of depression now as a I don't want to say as an adult, because I've said it a million times, but as someone who has learned how to cope with their life, has learned how to cope with their depression. I do have triggers. Last winter, I was triggered by the cold. I hate winter. Hate it. Hate it. I'm so happy today the sun is out and it's hot. But I hate winter. So we had a moment where, like, one day it was 90 degrees and literally the next day it was fucking 50. That drastic change in temperature sparked depression, and immediately I was just thinking so negatively. I was thinking about all the people that didn't fucking help me when I was struggling. I was thinking about how hard this fucking journey has been in California. I was just thinking about, like, I think I fucked up. I think I fucked up when I came here. I was just thinking so many negative, nasty things. And I honestly contemplated suicide. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I've never gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm doing this shit today. Never. If there was an easy way for me to just go to God and be like, God, I'm tired. I don't want to do this no more. Tonight, I'm gonna take a nap. Don't wake me up. If I could do it that way, I would have. But I remember saying in my head, this is the shit that makes people kill themselves. When you don't feel supported by your loved ones and you don't feel like the world even cares for you, that's your option sometimes. But what I've learned through quarantine is that people can only love you as much as they love themselves. And people see the world through their experience and through their trauma. So it's very hard for some people to love others because of the things that they've been through and the experiences that they've gone through. Now, my anxiety is more social, because in my head, I'm always constantly worried about what people think about me. I've always been told that I was mean. Oh, you're so mean. You're weird. Like, just stupid shit. And, like, just being constantly ridiculed by your parents. Just people making you feel like nothing you do is right. Gets in your fucking head sometimes. So that's why it's important to shower yourself with self-love and boost your own goddamn confidence. You have to be your own cheerleader. Because a lot of people are not happy with themselves. A lot of people are fucking miserable. And if they can put that pain onto you and transfer that negative energy to you to feel better, they're going to. And you have to also learn how to cope with other people's negative fucking energy. Or at least I did. Because a lot of people like to project onto me. Because from what I've read, I project this mirror image to people. So it's like, unintentionally, I show people their negative flaws and the things that they're doing in the world. So a lot of times people like to project their disappointments back to me. And I had to learn how to guard my own energy and protect myself. So when you're watching these videos that I'm making, I want you to know I deal with anxiety, social anxiety all the fucking time. I'm getting better, and I thank California for that, because I'm constantly being prejudged in California thanks to being black. And that prejudgment has taught me to say, Fuck you and your prejudgment. I don't care how you feel about me. That's a personal problem, and that's how you feel about yourself, okay? So many people like to walk around life being angry and upset with people and doing this. You did that, you did that. Let me tell you something. Depression and anxiety is a result of you. It's a result of your thinking. If you don't forgive, if you don't let go, and if you don't think positively, you are going to be depressed and you're going to be anxious. You have to retrain your mind to think positive. If all you do is walk around and in your head you're judging people, oh, you did this, so you're that, oh, you don't have no money because you got on those type of shoes, oh, you got no car here. Like, if you're one of those people, that's why you're depressed. That's why you're anxious, because you spend your time focused negatively on what other people are doing instead of focusing positively on how you can better yourself and better your life. Okay? So a lot of times when I'm experiencing negative emotions, it's because of the people around me. I'm gonna just be honest. When I isolate myself and I'm focused on me, and when I'm focused on my goals and my dreams and the things that make me happy, I'm perfectly fine. It's dealing with other people's bullshit that brings me discomfort. So that's why I spend my time alone. That's why I'm a loner. I prefer it. Now, if I want to step outside of my comfort zone, I'll go do some social shit. I'll go to an event, or I'll go and hang out with some people. But other than that, I absolutely like my time alone, because I am in control of my thoughts. I am in control of how I feel. I'm in control of my emotions. Nothing pisses me off. Okay? Not that I do. I don't do shit to make myself mad. It's when you get in the scheme of other people's bullshit and they bring their nasty, negative ass lives to you, and they want you to fix shit that you have no control over. Those are the people that I just want to stay the fuck away from me. Like, even now that I get older, like, just having conversations with people, all I hear is insecurity. 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 And I'm like, y'all, love yourself harder. Love yourself harder. I don't know who is planting these nasty negative seeds in people's mind, but it's disgusting to me. And I'm going to teach you how to overcome those nasty negative thoughts. Fuck everybody and what they think. And that is including your parents, because a lot of times your parents are projecting disappointments onto you that they have with self. A lot of our parents didn't live the life that they wanted or that they dreamed. And they are taking that shit out on us by not allowing us to live our dream. If you have parents like that, excuse my French, but fuck them, okay? Sorry to say it. So that's my whole little timeline on how I've, the moments that I've had depression and what I kind of do to get out of it. We'll have to discuss in a different video because this is already 30 minutes long. But listen, I'm pouring all of these tips and tools into this content. So when you see these crystal healing videos, when you see these hair care, skincare videos, I'm sharing this information with you. They're not just the title. There's more to these videos than the title. There's more to them than cute faces. There's more to them than just the aesthetics, okay? These videos are deep, and I'm sharing some very deep, dark shit about myself to help you see that you don't have to look like what you've been through, and you don't have to let that direct your path, because that's where a lot of alcoholism and a lot of addictions come from, y'all. Let that shit go so we can move on, we can prosper, we can grow, we can be the beautiful human beings that God made us, okay? So thank you again for listening. Sorry for getting all emotional on you guys, but life is emotional. Shit, I don't have a problem sitting here crying on camera. It's life. I hurt. I go through shit. I still miss my fucking baby, and I still miss my fucking grandma. So every now and then I'm going to tear up talking about them, okay? I literally was triggered by Greenleaf the other day, and I cried for my grandmother because I missed her. Okay, so take that in however you want. Have a great day. Love you.